Hello everyone and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Jessica McDonald. I'm a knitting pattern designer and I'm coming to you from a tiny town in the mountains of Idaho. And this is my knitting podcast where I share with you everything I'm working on, my plans, new releases, and sometimes I try to explain some things. So anyway, welcome to this episode, which is, I don't know what episode number, I did not look that up. It is January 26th, I think. Pretty sure it's January 26th. It's a beautiful sunny day outside. You'll notice, if you're a usual watcher, you'll notice I'm sitting in a different spot. Usually I sit directly opposite of where I'm sitting now. That's my desk is right over there, but the way the sun comes in through the window this time of year, at this time of day, it just shines right across at an angle onto my desk, and it's just not really good lighting conditions for a podcast. So I'm sitting over here on the opposite side of the room, and this is the guest bed, so I thought this would be a better place to sit. We'd have better light for this episode, so hopefully it looks good. Drinking my tea out of my Target mug. Nothing interesting to tell you about there. First of all, I am a knitting pattern designer. If you want to find my patterns, I have links to my Ravelry designer page and my website in the description box below. And I also have a sign up link there for my newsletter. If you are interested in my patterns, the best place to be is on my newsletter. So now let's talk about what I'm wearing. This is probably really boring to those of you who've been around for a few times, but just in case you haven't seen this sweater before, this is Blizzard and I released it this last Monday. It is designed specifically for the beginning colorwork knitters. People who have more experience knitting colorwork will also really enjoy it. It's really relaxing, makes this beautiful striking yoke. But I designed this one specifically for people who have not knit colorwork before, who want to learn how to knit colorwork, or who want to make a colorwork yoke sweater. I've got a number of little tricks in here that make it perfect for your first colorwork sweater. You can see these first few rows of motifs here, this section here, these are all just 2-stitch repeats. This is so that you can work on figuring out how to hold the yarn in your hands, how to tension it, how to work with 2 strands of yarn at the same time, and how to manage the tension on two different strands of yarn. So it's just really easy to work. And then as you get into here, from here down, the motifs get a little bit bigger and a little bit longer, but the floats are never more than 3 stitches long. And that's a really important thing for a beginning colorwork knitter, because one of the hardest things to do when you're learning how to knit colorwork is manage the tension of your floats. If your floats are too tight, your fabric is puckered up. If your floats are too loose, it's just, the whole thing is loose and just looks sloppy. So managing the tension of your floats is one of the hardest things and one of the most important things to practice. Keeping these floats short means that you can do it more easily as you start. All of the repeats are really easily memorized. It's like 2 brown, 2 white, 2 brown, 2 white, 3 brown, 3 white, 3 brown, 3 white, 2 brown, 1 white, 2 brown, 1 white. So it's really easy to memorize the repeats. So you don't have to devote a lot of brain power to remembering the repeats, and you can just focus on working the color work, learning how to manage 2 colors, learning how to manage your tension, and all of that. So also the increases are in these plain rounds. You can see between the different tiers of motifs, there's just these plain brown rounds. That's where the increases are. So you don't have to do increases and colorwork at the same time. So this is Blizzard. It's currently on sale. You can use the code Blizzard, all caps, for 15% off up until Friday the 28th. I'm planning to upload this tonight, so you'll have Thursday and Friday, but after that the code will be gone. I'm sorry to those of you watching after Friday, but if you are interested in my patterns, sign up for my newsletter. You will be the first person to hear about all of my discounts, and you'll get the best discount. So sign up for that if you are disappointed. Oh, also, when you do sign up, you will get a welcome email with a code for 20% off. So you can use that 20% off coupon to go buy Blizzard if you want to. So I'm going to show you the inside. I'm wearing a t-shirt, so this isn't going to be exciting. I want to show you the inside so you can see what I'm talking about when I'm talking about floats. Do you see all these little strands? They're going across the back of the fabric. Those are the floats, and those are the things whose tension you need to manage. You see how they're nice and smooth? They're not too loose, they're not too tight, they're not pulling the fabric together, they're not just sloppily hanging there. That's the hardest part. I have a how to knit colorwork tutorial that I uploaded Monday, or went live on Monday. So if you want to learn how to knit colorwork, start with that tutorial that's on here on my YouTube channel. In the tutorial section, I'm going to put a link to it below so you can find it more easily. And it will teach you absolutely everything you need to know to start knitting colorwork. Everything from what a float is and how to manage their tension, how to start a new color into your knitting, how to read a colorwork chart, how to keep track of where you are, color dominance, all kinds of stuff. So this is Blizzard. The pattern is out now. I'll put links down below so you can go and grab the pattern and check out my tutorial so you can learn how to knit colorwork. Because if you want to learn how to knit colorwork, this one's for you. I knit this in Bare Naked Wool's Better Breakfast DK, which is a blend of 65% merino and 35% de-haired alpaca. It is so soft, so soft. The yarn is really bouncy and smooth. It's really nice to work with. If you're somebody who can't wear alpaca, the de-haired alpaca in this yarn will not be irritating to you. I can't wear normal alpaca, but I can wear this de-haired alpaca. So there is my new pattern. So go and buy it if you want it. I didn't get a lot of knitting done between last episode and this one, so I have a couple whips to show you that were also whips in my last episode, so you'll have to bear with me here. First of all, I'm going to show you the grown-up version of, come on, get out of there, the grown-up version of Tamarack. Woodland Ramble, which came out last fall, is a collection of children's patterns, and everybody loved them so much that they immediately asked for grown-up versions of all the patterns, so I'm working on it. This is the grown-up version of Tamarack. I'm almost done with it, so I thought I'd just put it on so I can show you like this. I just have that much left, so few inches of sleeve and then it'll be done. I'm not working on it as my main project right now. I'm not working on it full time, so it's kind of going slow. And also, whoops, something that's kind of disappointing to me is I'm gonna have to start a new ball of yarn. I did get 6 skeins of this yarn to knit this from, but I thought I might be able to do it in 5. And yeah, this is all I've got left, and that much sleeve. So yeah, I'm gonna need to start the last skein just to do a few inches. So I'm gonna have almost a whole skein of yarn left over, but you know, there's nothing wrong with leftover yarn, right? It just means you get to find someplace really fun to use it later, right? So here's Tamarack. It is a top-down raglan shawl collar cardigan with buttons. I made proper buttonholes. I don't know if the collar was done last time I showed you, because I talked about the fact that the very top buttonhole is too high, and that I think I'm just going to pretend it's not there. Anyway, so my first ever proper buttonholes. Usually I just do a yarn over buttonhole, but this time I actually, did buttonholes. So maybe it'll focus on the buttonhole instead of my face. So that was pretty exciting for me. But it's got this lovely texture. This broken rib stitch is just really glorious. It looks beautiful. It's so cozy. It adds some really, really nice interest to the fabric, but it's really easy to work. Really, really easy to work. You knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl on the right side, and then on the wrong side, you just knit. So it's really easy to work, but it just looks fantastic. This is knit in Durham Natura Juliette in the colorway Caramel, which is the exact same color I made Jimmy's out of, and he's really excited that we are going to have matching sweaters, but I'm not going to wear mine until after the official pictures are taken, which I'm planning to do in June. So I'm probably really not going to wear it till next fall, and Jimmy will have outgrown his by then, so it's kind of sad for him, but oh well. I think I might call this one Larch. A larch and a tamarack are the same tree. The whole collection has tree names, and now that I'm doing the adult versions of all of these designs, I don't really want to do big tamarack, big cedar, big birch. I feel like that's not very sophisticated, and I kind of want it to be a little more sophisticated. So I might call this one Larch, and yeah, that way it's the same tree, slightly different. Hopefully that works okay. You can tell me in the comments if you like that idea or not, because naming the sweater patterns is one of the hardest parts. So there's my first whip. Hopefully it will be well and truly, and oh, by the time I talk to you again, I need to finish writing that pattern before I can start the test knit. Finish writing the pattern, send it to my tech editor, and then I can start the test knit. So I need to get on that. That is my biggest fire to put out right now. I haven't had a ton of time to write patterns lately, so I am well and truly behind on pattern writing. My next whip is Cedar, the grown-up version of Cedar. Last time I think I just had the ribbing and the short rows done. I don't think I'd started any color work yet last episode, but I didn't go back to check and see because I didn't think that was worth taking the time to do. So this is the grown-up version of Cedar. I did knit this yoke basically twice. Originally there was another section, so you can see it's alternating the green, the caramel and the green. Maybe I should tell you the yarn first. This is Durham Natura Juliette, which is their sport weight yarn. Juliette's the worsted weight. Juliette is sport weight, and it's in colors. The gray is Goland, the caramel color is caramel, and this dark green is Forsyth. So the children's version starts here. It just has this, and this top tier of caramel here, this little section here. Oop, focus. This little section here is just one stitch deep, whereas in the adult version I made them all 2 stitches deep, just to make them a little bit bigger, get a little more depth in the yoke. So I added this whole section up here, this whole section here, and then I also originally had a whole section down here, in between here and here, in between here, I had a whole other green section, but it ended up being really, really deep because I'd finished that and then I realized I still needed to do this star, and I was already at like 8 inches deep for the yoke, and I like to keep the smallest at about 7.5 inches, 7.5 inches. This is 7 inches down here. So that was gonna be way, way, way too deep. So I ripped the whole yoke back all the way up to here, right under this first green section, and then knit it all over again. It took me a while. I really enjoy knitting color work, and I didn't mind having to knit it again because I enjoyed knitting it, but it was a bit frustrating because I'm not getting things done on the time scale that I had planned to get them done on, so I was getting a bit frustrated. My husband did point out to me that, you know, I'm setting all of these deadlines for myself and all of these schedules for myself, so I could just change it if I wanted to. So I might have to do that because I was getting pretty stressed out. Here, I've got it on. I've got about 9 inches in the body. If I stand up, I don't know if that will. There you can see about 9 inches. So it's a little bit below my waist now. Another 6 or 7 inches is about all I'll do. I'm very tall. I'm very unusually tall. So I'm 5'10", and some of you who are tall are probably rolling your eyes, but my torso is disproportionately long. So I have to make all of my sweaters about 1.5 inches longer in the body, 1.5 to 2 inches longer in the body, and I make my sleeves 1.5 to 2 inches longer as well. So I have a lot more knitting to do than the average height person. So the nice thing about a top-down sweater is you can very, very easily modify the length. You need it longer, you just knit for more time. If you need it shorter, you just knit less. And it's super easy to just customize that length to your body so that it fits you in the best way. That's a big reason why I do top-down sweaters so much. So here it is. I'll turn towards the light, you can see it nicely. I really love this. I really love this color scheme together. The gray with the caramel and the green, this whole color scheme just makes me really, really happy. I really like the way it fits. This fabric produced by this yarn is so nice. It's soft and lightweight and lofty. I think I'm really gonna love this sweater. I think it might be my new favorite after we take the pictures and I start incorporating it into my daily wear. So this time I went for about 5 inches of positive ease. I knit a size larger than I generally do because I wanted something that just fits a little bit looser. It's not baggy or oversized fit, but it just fits a little bit looser. Generally, I do like 3 inches of positive ease. Positive ease means that the finished measurement of the garment is larger than the size of your body. So if I measure my chest, I always do my upper bust measurement, which is right under my armpits. It's about 34 and a half inches. Chest circumference, and this sweater measures 39 inches around the chest. So that's 5 inches of positive ease. The sweater is 5 inches bigger than I am. So I wanted something just a little bit looser. As I get older, I'm kind of liking looser fitting things more. When I was, late teens, early 20s, everything had to be absolutely skin tight and right against my body, and the older I get, the looser I want my clothes. So anyway, by the time I'm 80, I'll be wearing tents. But you can very easily just go up a size or 2 or 3 on this one. I'm going to pause this and restart this, and then I'm going to talk about necklines for a little while. My camera only records in 20-minute intervals, so necklines. You can see the fit of the neckline on this sweater. Let me get my hair out of the way. You can see that it's a really nice crew neck fit. It fits close to the neck, but it's not coming up your neck. It just fits really nice close to the neck, just like a crew neck t-shirt. One of the things that a lot of patterns get wrong, and that I have gotten wrong in my older patterns, is a neck that's too big, especially in the larger sizes. As you go up in size and the neckline grows, well, the thing is, everybody's neck is roughly the same size. Some people, have a skinnier neck or a fatter neck, but it's not going to vary by more than an inch or two, a couple inches maybe. So a lot of the problems in grading that I see on sweaters is that the neckline is too big. So on my sweaters that have a crew neck like this, I don't remember when I started doing it, but I started just doing all of them a 20-inch circumference neckline, which fits me like this. This is unblocked. When it's blocked, it will probably ease out a little bit, relax a little bit. But this is a 20-inch neckline. and I decided to just keep all of my necklines that size, even for the larger sizes, because as you get a larger size, you get a bigger sweater, you get more fabric, and since this is a top-down sweater, all of this weight for this sweater is hanging off of the neckline right here. And so when you have more weight on the sweater, pulling it down this way, it stretches out that neckline. So the larger sizes are going to end up with a neckline that already fits larger, just because there's that extra weight pulling on it, you know, kind of stretching it out like this. And I don't want that to be too big. So I do a 20-inch neckline. This also means, since all of the necklines are the same size, if you want to make a larger size sweater, if you just want to make a bigger sweater that fits you bigger in the chest and in the arms, you can just choose a larger size and it will fit you bigger everywhere except for the neck. I also make sure I mind my wrist circumferences because people's wrists don't expand massively even if they are a bigger person. So long story short, if you want to make this sweater or one of my more recent sweaters, I think all of the ones last year and even into 2020, maybe I've been doing this for a couple of years now, you can just choose a larger size. The neckline is still going to fit you really nice. The wrists aren't going to be overtly massive, and you can have a baggier sweatshirt fit that's kind of in right now, the style right now, but it's still going to look good. It's still going to look like it fits right because it's going to fit right in your neck and your shoulders, because that's where it's got to fit in order for it to look right, even if it's a boxy, oversized fit. So there's my spiel on grading. I've learned a lot as I go along. I've learned a lot just by doing it and just through practice, and yeah, I might get some grief for this, but I don't think a person should design sweater patterns if they don't also know how to grade. And I know that there's a lot of people who don't know how to grade designing patterns, and they'll just make everything bigger, or they'll send it to a grader, which also isn't a fantastic solution because there's a lot of issues that you come across as you're designing that you have to consider to make sure that all of the sizes fit right and the design remains true through all of the sizes. Going on a tangent now. We're going on a tangent now. So take, for example, this raglan line of Tamarack, probably going to be called large. Do you see how it fits at just, I've got this straight diagonal line and the texture comes off of it equally on both sides, right? If I'm making a larger size pattern, I have to make sure that this line stays true. I can't, if I'm making a larger size pattern, so when you're making a raglan style sweater, one of the problems with designing a top-down raglan sweater is that as you go to the larger sizes, since you're increasing both sides of this line on every other round, as you're going along to get to the appropriate number of stitches to have your body large enough for somebody with, say, a 58-inch chest, that means that you have to keep increasing for a long time, and then you end up with an armhole that's 2 feet deep. And that's like, nobody has an armhole that's 2 feet deep. That's not going to fit that larger person okay. So one of the ways people accommodate that is that they'll start at the rate of every other increase every side, every other row. And then for the larger sizes, as you get down here, they'll start to increase on the body side every row and not increase on the sleeve side, so that you can get more stitches in this section and more stitches on the body without making your armhole too deep. And that's something that I utilize on Wild Horse. This is Wild Horse, which is another top-down raglan style sweater, but you can see I just have the garter stitch that goes in the raglan line, but there's no texture that comes off of it. It's just all stockinette. So I can change the rate of increases down here so that the larger sizes have more increases on the body side, and you won't know. You'll never see it. It won't disrupt this line. It won't disrupt this line at all. It won't disrupt any patterning. It will work fine for this, and it will fit that person really well. But for this sweater where you've got the patterning coming off of that raglan line, it needs to look the same in every size. If I came in here and started adding increases every row on the body side, that would just really mess up this patterning, and it wouldn't look nice. You can see the lines come straight off of there. There's, you know, it comes off at the same time. It radiates out from that raglan line at the same time. But if I did more increases down here on the body side, it would mess it all up. It would not look the same. And for people in larger sizes, they would not have a sweater that looks like the sample, that looks like the design is supposed to look. And so that would not be good for them. I imagine they would be quite disgruntled. So how do you solve that problem? Well, the way I solved that problem in this sweater in Tamarack is, so you have the top of the sleeve of every single, this is the top of the sleeve. For the larger sizes, I have it smaller so that they can, so that I can get more increases, because I'm going to do more increases so that it doesn't get too wide. So I have fewer stitches cast on for the top of the sleeve, and I also I cast on a little more for the back neck, but that's another thing that you don't want to cast on too many stitches at the back neck, because then it fits them way out here, and that's not right. So for larger sizes, one of the ways that I fixed that is I monkeyed around with is a little more technical than monkeying around, but I fiddled with the number of stitches the sleeve starts with so that I could add more stitches in the underarm as well, because you also don't want the sleeve to be too big, because people don't, like, arms only get so big, so that I could add more fabric to the body with the underarm stitches without making the arm too large, so that it still fits that larger person well, but you keep this design feature of the texture radiating off of the raglan increase line. So I feel like that might have been really confusing. I feel like I lost my yarn on the floor. I feel like that might have been really confusing to some of you, but there's a little glimpse into knitting pattern design and grading for you. But I'm saying this to illustrate my point that if I didn't know how to grade and I was just designing a sample in my size, I'm a scrawny person, I'm skinny. If I just designed a sample in my size, then shipped it off to somebody else, or just, you know, added stitches everywhere, this sweater would not be technically size inclusive. Sure, the finished measurement might fit a 60-inch bust, but it's not going to fit that 60-inch chest body the same way it fits my body. It's not going to look like the same sweater. It's not going to look like the same design. It's not going to work. So anyway, drink some tea and calm down. There's a lot that goes into grading a sweater pattern so that it fits all of the sizes well, because it's one thing to say, oh, I'm size inclusive and have your sweater, you know, go up to a 60-inch chest. But it's another thing entirely to make sure that all of those sizes fit those bodies well. And that's the key, that's what's tricky, and that's where knowing how to grade. My battery died mid-rant. So that was an inopportune time for it to die. But anyway, my point is that if somebody doesn't know how to grade, the sweaters are not gonna fit different sized bodies well. And it's not gonna, you could say it's size inclusive, but if it doesn't fit all of those bodies well, then I don't think you could technically call it size inclusive. You just have a whole bunch of sizes. I might have ruffled some feathers with that, but anyway, I feel very strongly about that, so anywho, yeah. So back to our usual programming. This is the grown-up version of Cedar. For its name, since I don't want to do just like big cedar, I was thinking of calling it red cedar, which is the common cedar tree that's in the United States, or cedrus, which is the Latin name for cedar. So you can tell me if you like or hate any of those names in the comment section below, because I really don't know what I'm gonna name it. So anyway, there you go, Cedar. These are gonna be in my forest collection, which I'm gonna be releasing as a book this fall. I'm aiming for September, but I'm not on my schedule that I set for myself, so it might be later in the fall before I get it out. So there we go. Now I'm just on to knitting stockinette. Oh, if you're wondering how I got that on and off so easily, I just put it on 2 needles. So you can see I've got it, half of the stitches on each needle. These are 32-inch cables. A 32-inch cable is my favorite size, and it's the one I recommend most often because I don't want people to feel like they have to go out and buy a bunch of different cable sizes to make my patterns. I use magic glue for all my small circumferences, and I have a couple 40-inch cable needles, but most of my needles are just 32-inch, and then I just knit half of it onto a second needle and try it on really easily, and then you don't have to deal with, you know, sliding all of your stitches onto waste yarn or one of those colorful tubes that you can put them on. Yeah, you can just knit it onto a second needle, just knit, and then knit it all back onto one needle. So then you can try it on. There is Cedar. I'm gonna put this is what I'm actually wearing today. It's just a t-shirt and my Wild Horse cardigan. I get cold, so I can't just sit here in a t-shirt. So anyway, yes, this is Wild Horse. I released this pattern in November. It is a top-down raglan. It's got this squishy detail in the raglans and this glorious garter stitch shawl color. Other than that, it's just plain stockinette garter rib on the hem and the cuffs, so it's got these little garter stitch elements that make it super cozy. Of course, this giant collar. It's my favorite cardigan. I wear it all the time, so I can just wear this t-shirt and jeans and this sweater, and I feel really put together and cozy, and I still look nice, and it's still a really comfy mom outfit. So I don't do sweatpants or yoga pants or just slouching around the house in old clothes. I used to do that. I used to do that a lot, and I had a lot of trouble with mindset and feeling good about myself, and it just makes a huge difference in my mindset and my day when I wear something that I feel good in. So I'm just wearing jeans and a t-shirt and my fantastic hand knit sweater and wool socks and wool slippers, and I'm really comfortable. I'm really cozy and warm, but I feel like I look nice, I'm comfortable in this outfit. If somebody comes to the door, I won't be embarrassed. And I'm happier and I accomplish things so much better when I actually wear clothes I like. So there's a little bit of spiel on mindset. Is this turning into a bit of a sermon today? Oh my. So now I have some new yarn. A whole big bag full of yarn. One of my goals for this year is to work with more small women-owned companies that are producing entirely US grown, sourced, milled, spun, sold, the whole works, US made yarn. So this yarn is from Autumn and Indigo. I have been friends with Claire on Instagram for quite a long time now. She used to be just exclusively a hand dyer on superwash yarns, and she's grown her business, and now she's sourcing some of her own yarns and getting it spun. And she's also having it dyed elsewhere too, some of it, because I think all of it. Some she still dyes at home. I'm not sure. But, because it got to the point where she couldn't keep up. So her yarn is beautiful. Her colors are just stunning. This really gorgeous palette of colors. That's one of the things that really drew me to her, is her colors are just gorgeous. So I got this yarn from Autumn and Indigo. This is her local sport. It is 100% American Rambouillet black sheep blend. Skeins are 185 yards, which is 56 grams. So this is sport weight Rambouillet, which this sweater is also Rambouillet. It's really soft and cozy. It's just a really, really nice fiber Rambouillet. So this color combination, I'm going to move over so you can see it against the white wall. That's another reason why I'm sitting here today, is that white wall in the background. You can see my color combo here. She posted a picture on Instagram with these two and another pinky purple color months and months and months ago. And that's what started this sweater. It's like, those colors look amazing together, and I really want to put them together in a sweater. So I ordered these 3 colors. This is light gray. This is going to be my main color. Very predictable, aren't I? Light gray main color. And then these are my 2 contrast colors. This one is Damask. I've been saying Damask. Pretty sure that's right. I'm only teaching small children to read. I should know how to pronounce things, right? And this is Canyon. So I thought Canyon would be a little more coppery based off of the pictures that I saw on Instagram and her website, but it is just a really nice brown. Move my head, really pretty brown. This is a dusty mauve shade. Move this way maybe, and then you can see it there. And I thought these looked really good together. So I'm going to make a colorwork yoke out of these 3 colors. I got quite a lot of yarn because I'm planning to make a kids version and a grown-up version of this design. And I've already been working on the colorwork chart. One of the things I do when I get really stressed is I just really like to play in Stitch Mastery and come up with new colorwork charts, which is one of the reasons why I'm a designer, because that's fun for me. So I've already been playing around with this chart, and I'm thinking about putting some baubles in it. So maybe some main color baubles, maybe some contrast color baubles. What do you think? Baubles and colorwork? If you didn't like the baubles, you could just knit that stitch instead of making a bauble there. And I was going to do crochet hook baubles, which are really quick and easy to do. And I'll make you a tutorial for it, don't worry. But I was thinking that would be super fun. Yeah. Or would that be too much? I don't know. Generally, I try to pare things back a little bit and keep it a little bit simpler, but I don't know. Just sounds really fun to me. So these 3 colors together. It's going to sit on the shelf in my closet. My closet over here is where I keep all my yarn. And right now it's just all bags of yarn that I'm going to knit with over the next 6 months, which is really exciting for me. Yeah. I'll put a link to this yarn down below too, so that you can go and check it out for yourself, because it is really beautiful yarn. It feels really soft. It doesn't have any itch or prickle to it at all. It's just really nice yarn. Anyway, so that's my acquisitions. Now, I want to talk to you about another topic. So I want to talk to you guys about how to choose colors for colorwork knitting, which I've got a new colorwork sweater pattern out, and I'm planning lots more colorwork knitting projects for this year. So I thought it might be good if I spent a few minutes talking to you about how I choose my colors for colorwork knitting. I've written a whole blog post on this, and I'll put a link to that in the description box below so you can go read that as well. But I thought I'd go over it here too in video, because I know, oh, here's my phone. I know that some people just like to see it talked about in video instead. So the number one most important thing when you're choosing colors to put together for colorwork knitting is color value. So I'm going to show you with my colors for Cedar first. Okay, so there's hair on that one. So white wall coming to the rescue here. So, can I hold them in one hand? Here we go. So the color or the shade or the hue, those words are kind of used interchangeably. That's the actual shade of it. This is caramel, this is green, this is gray. But the color value is the strength or the relative darkness of that color, that hue. And to get good color work results, you want to choose colors that have different color value. So you can look at these three colors together here, and you can, just eyeballing it, you can tell this is light, this is medium, this is dark. These three have different color values. So when I put them together in a color work project, they're going to look really good together. They're going to stand out against each other, you're going to be able to see the motif clearly, and it's just going to be really pleasing to the eye. If you cannot eyeball the color value, there's a really handy little trick you can do. Get your phone, get your photo, snap a quick picture of it, and go edit your photo and switch it to the black and white filter. So here's those three yarns with the black and white filter applied. You can see here's light, that's the gray. Oh, let me see if I can focus this here. So you can see very clearly. This lightest shade is the gray, this medium shade of gray is the caramel, and this darkest shade of gray is the forite. So when you take a photo of it and you edit it and change it to black and white, it strips away the hue and it leaves you with the color value of those skeins of yarn just in shades of gray. So you're looking for something that has different shades of gray in your black and white photo. So these three are three different color values from light to dark, so they look really good together and they'll make a really pretty color work project. Now there's a lot of color theory out there, like get your color wheel, or complementary colors, analogous colors, like there's a lot of color theory out there, and I know very, very limited color theory, and I just don't use it because I think this all comes down to personal taste. Some people really like color combinations together. Like, I like this together. There's probably some of you watching who are like, that doesn't look very good, but I love this. So the actual shades that you choose to put together is really a very personal taste thing. And so I think you should just choose the colors you love. I love these colors, so I'm putting them together. Choose the colors that you love, and then do your little color value trick here and make sure that they all have different color values, and then go. I need a drink real quick. you can put together a monochromatic scheme and do like a light pink, a medium pink, and a red. And that looks fantastic. You'll have the light pink as a light color value, the medium pink is a medium color value, and the red will be a dark color value. That color combination will look fantastic together if you choose to do it. And I'll hate it. I'll absolutely hate it. I don't like red and I don't like pink. So a lot of this choosing what color to use is personal taste. So yeah, I think you should just choose the colors you like and then make sure they're a different color value. If you hear mad children in the background, don't worry, my husband is down there. Another thing to make sure when you're checking your color value is look at these two skeins. See them? They're very, very different color. This is Naughty Pine Fiber Co. and the color Whiskey River. It's left over from this sweater. This is Biche Bouche, Le Lamb's Wool in dark green gray. They're very different colors. You have orangey and green. You might look at these two together and say, well, they're very, very different colors. I could put them in a color work project together and they'll look fantastic and it will be great. But let me get my camera here. Oops, going crazy. I'm gonna take my camera. Quick picture, edit it to black and white. I don't know why I felt the need to do sound effects, but you can see here, let's focus on there. You can see here when I take that picture and I change it to black and white, they are basically the same shade of gray. There is a very slight difference, but it's barely noticeable. These two yarns have the same color value. If you put them together in a color work project, you're not going to be able to tell there's something there. It will look really muddy and really distorted. Your motif will not show up. It just won't look good. From a distance, you won't be able to see anything at all. The fabric will just look kind of weirdly colored. So these two together are the same color value. They will not look good in color work together, but I grabbed something with a light color value. This is just Quince & Co. Larkin, the color Adowin, and I put it with either one of these. You have a dark and a light. This will look fantastic together. This will look fantastic together. This will not look fantastic together. So yeah, color value. It all comes down to color value when you're choosing colors to put together. These three together. Before I bought these three colors, I asked Claire to take a photo of them laying next to each other so that I could see them together and see how they look all together. And also so that I could screenshot that photo and convert it to black and white and see the color values. So I have my light, my medium, and my dark. These two are kind of close. They're not super different, but they're different enough that I think it will look just fine. Here comes somebody mad. She's running to her room. She's not coming out for the rest of the day. I don't know if you could hear that. Yeah. She stayed up way too late last night in spite of my attempts to get her to go to bed on time, so she's a bit short-tempered today. Yeah. Some days it's a very peaceful, harmonious household, and some days I'm told things like, you're the worst mother ever, and I'm going to my room and I'm not coming back until you die. So, you know, normal children. Back to these colors. So I had Claire send me a picture of these three colors side by side so that I could see how they look together, which is fantastic, and convert that photo to black and white so that I could compare the color values. If you're shopping in an actual yarn store, it's really easy to just lay your skeins out together, snap a quick photo, and convert it to black and white. But if you're shopping online, which is what I always do, it can be kind of hard to tell what the color values are and to know if it's going to make a good color combination. So I think you should email the shop. If it's a small shop, like if you're emailing webs, you're not going to get a response. But if you're emailing just like a yarn store somewhere, you will hopefully get a response. Claire was very happy to send me these. Jess from Shop La Mercerie has also helped me out in this way by sending me pictures of colors together and helping me choose color combinations. So if you're shopping for yarn, email them and see if they'll send you a quick picture of the colors you're considering laying next to each other so that you can see how they look together, and also so that you can convert that picture to black and white and compare the color values so that you can get a good result. So, but of course, if you're actually in a store, which if you're a lucky person to be able to go to a local yarn store, I don't have a local yarn store, so I'm always on the internet. If you can actually go into the store, that's the best. But anyway, so there's quite a lot of information there, even though there was not a ton of knitting in this episode. So I think that is everything I had planned to talk to you about today. There was one thing I wanted to ask you. A lot of my favorite podcasters, I watch podcasts on YouTube all the time. I love, love, love to just sit and turn on a podcast, a knitting podcast, and knit. Like, that is peak relaxation right there. So a lot of my favorite podcasters, or the podcasters that I watch, are doing, ask me a question and I'll answer it. Ask me anything, something like that. So I was wondering if that's something you enjoy and if you wanted to do that every once in a while. I don't know if I'd do it every episode because sometimes I can get a little long-winded, but is that something that you guys would enjoy? You could ask me some questions and I could answer them in the next episode, or put something somewhere where you could post questions too. So anyway, if you wanted to have that kind of a section where you ask me questions and I answer them, you can let me know in the comment section. And if all of you want to ask me questions that I answer, then yeah, you can. We can do that. This concludes our presentation for today. I think I've run out of things to talk about. I need to go figure out what's going on with my 6-year-old now. I think I'll suggest to her that she goes out and feeds the chickens because she really loves to go out and do that. So that should cheer her right up. She loves the chickens. She loves the chickens. Those poor chickens. The girls will go out for hours and play with the chickens, and they carry them around and they hold them on their laps and they pet them, and they're very gentle with them. They're old enough to not be crazy and wild chickens. They'll also put them in a 5-gallon bucket and carry them around. They'll put them in my garden wagon, which is out there, and give them rides around. Either these are the happiest and most loved chickens in the world, or the most tortured chickens in the world, but they seem to be pretty happy. 2 of them are laying, so they can't be too disgruntled. Anyway, that will cheer her up. I'm gonna go now. So if you enjoyed my podcast and you would like to see all of my new podcasts when they come up, or tutorials that I film, please subscribe to my channel. Then they'll all show up in your subscriptions section. And please sign up for my newsletter if you want to hear about all of my new pattern releases, because that is the very first place that gets informed, and you will always get the best discount. So the link to sign up to my newsletter is in the description box below this video. And thank you for watching. I'm so glad to have had you here, and I will see you all next time. Bye.